Yeah. So what I'll do, Jasmine, is I'm recording this right now. I'll actually play both the C major and the F major scale for you,
Okay.
and
Okay,
then
great.
you'll be able to watch the recording of it
Oh, okay,
and
awesome.
play along. So I'll do that right now.
Okay.
All right. So here is C major. This is how I recommend you guys to work on the C major scale. And then F major. It's like that.
Okay, good. Good.
Cool. Yeah, so for everybody watching out there, I recommend that you guys have at least two scales or so that you're working on. So, for Jasmine, she's working on a Bach and a Mazas, which are in those key signatures. So it's really good for what she's doing. If you've never done third position, I would recommend G major 2 octaves, which is in first position. D major one octave, C major 1 octave is all in first position. But normally the first two scales I recommend to students that are just starting to learn third position, so this would be for you, Bonnie, would be C major and D major scales. So I think you've been sort of working on that, right, Bonnie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you are sort of feeling pretty confident about the C and D major scales, I recommend also working on an A major 2 octave, which is first position. I recommend B flat major 2 octave in first position. I recommend E flat major 2 octave, which actually takes you into third position with a finger stretch. So that would be a good scale to learn. So yeah, try to have at least 2 or 3 scales that you guys are working on. Warm up with it. Focus on your technique. What you're doing with your hand, your intonation. Also, what you can do with scales is work on bowing. So you guys can actually do like 2 notes per bow. So instead of just separate notes, you could go like that. You can
Good.
also work on staccato, which is good, with working on index. So you could do the scales like this. So yeah, try to always have like 1 or 2 things that you're working on with scales. Don't just sort of play them and not have a mindset. Have a mindset of a bad habit you might have, or a bowing that you're trying to work on, or articulation, stuff like that. And yeah, the more that you do that, you just really start to build better habits, and that will translate into your songs. Playing more in tune, playing more articulate.
That one right there.
Third finger on the G, up, and then
Yeah.
goes 2 octaves.
Oh, 2 octaves. Okay.
Whoop. So yeah, I always suggest students shift with scales on the A string.
Oh,
So
shift on the
yeah,
S.
this is a shifting scale. So B, shift.
Okay.
Oh, 1 note too high, but yep,
Okay.
yep. And then you can come back down. Yeah, so I think that's good practice. It's technically good for the Bach double, the intonation work there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I noticed with the hand, I'm noticing the hand's pretty far up. I'm noticing that fingerboard space there, or where a hand should be farther back.
Oh, okay, back here.
Yeah, yeah, just right by the nut because that's going to help, especially as you're playing those low ones. And then I noticed actually when you shifted back to first, you had to kind of readjust your hand a little bit to find that F natural.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah. So just yeah, as you're shifting back, that's actually really good practice from third position to first. Make sure that the hand comes all the way back.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'll have to think about that. I did not think about that. I was just thinking about shifting back up.
Yeah.
Or wherever my hand landed, that's where I was going.
So yeah, that's really good practice actually. Yeah, for that Bach and the
Yeah,
Mazas as well, because there's a lot of shifts back and forth.
yes.
So I would suggest that. That's great. And then also the F major scale. Do you want to give that a try?
Okay. Now the F major will be, is that right here?
It's actually lower, but yeah, close. You're a little sharp. Your whole hand is a little high today.
Oh,
There you
right here?
go.
Oh,
It's actually a low two. That's a high two.
oh,
There you go.
that one?
Yep.
Wait. Oh, I get that. Is that going to be the B flat on that F major?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then right there, any scale, I recommend shifting up on the A string and then shifting down on the E string.
I got to remember that. Okay.
Yep. And then in the fifth position, yep.
And I have to go up?
Yes. Yep.
Oh my God.
There
That
you
right
go.
there?
Yeah, I like how high the knuckles are. Try to keep them like that all the way throughout the shifting.
Okay. Boy, I
It's
have
good
to
habit.
practice that F major. See, I did not realize I have not had any training in those scales. Now, if I did, it was back when I was in fifth and sixth grade. And any of these other teachers, whatever that I had when I went back to playing, never went to,
Emphasized it.
yeah,
Yeah, I when I was teaching full time, I would always have students warm up with quite a few
yeah,
scales, at least for 5 minutes.
yeah.
And
Okay.
that's kind of the area where you can focus a little bit more on technique and less, think, more structured and focus in on some of the bad habits you might have.
Yeah.
So obviously, yeah, like a tip I gave you with the hand, that's a good place to work on it with scales is keeping the hand back.
Yes, yes. And then going back, did not get to do that.
Yeah,
Um, but I don't know where I was. Was that the note?
that's the shift note. That's fifth position. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, actually, that's one note off. So it'd be. So that's your shift right there in C.
Okay.